Well, good morning, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Dr. D, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Hey!
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm feeling, I'm in such a good mood when I wake up and I talk to you and we're working on the posties. Like, just one quick plug for tomorrow's show. I feel like it's the most anticipated show of the year for you and me.
Yeah, I do get really excited about the Post-to-Post Posty Awards. And now that I've actually, there's some that I'm still going back and forth on, but I do have like an actual list of the awards and my choices for them. And boy, just thinking about it, I'm so excited for tomorrow's episode. And I think that people who regularly watch Post to Post will enjoy this too.
And do we have the same categories? I think we have the same categories, right? I'm not missing any.
Do you want to? I mean, I'll run through them if you want.
Run through the categories for us.
Here's the ones at least I've been working on. Just give me one moment, please, to pull this up.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I've got, and I'll probably change the order up eventually to put them in like an exciting order. But I've got Feud of the Year. And by the way, everyone, if you're a regular viewer, please put some thoughts together for these two, because we'll want to know what you think on the comments for sure. So Feud of the Year.
I know what you're picking for that one. Me versus my wife.
Oh yeah, well, Valeri. It's been a heart feud for me for sure. Match of the Year. Better Luck NXT Time.
By the way, I'm not saying anything about any of these because I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just going to give you the categories. By the way, that's for call-ups that came from NXT that just haven't panned out the way we thought they would.
Sure.
Or at least they thought they would.
And I thought about it, instead of giving it like a year limit, but it also shouldn't be like anyone that was called up from NXT that fizzled out, because that could be just about anybody on the roster at this point. So it's got to be like relatively recent, right? Like within a year or two, probably.
Yeah, I just feel like anyone that's been called up that just belly flopped.
Yeah, good.
Most Prominent Death of the Year. Superstar of the Year. Promo of the Year. Tag Team of the Year. Women's Wrestler of the Year. Newcomer of the Year. Best Pay-Per-View of the Year. News Story of the Year, which, by the way, is for off-screen happenings.
Yes. And
Most Shocking Moment of the Year, which is for written angles on screen. Right. Stuff that they wanted to happen.
Yes.
So is there any that I'm missing?
No, that's my list. So
okay.
I feel like we're good.
So that's what's going to be coming up on the show tomorrow, and obviously we are real excited about that. I don't know that there's a ton to cover from SmackDown. I took a few notes, but at least I'll say this. When we're done, I've got a few things I want to throw at you, wrestling related anyway, too.
Okay, cool. Well, why don't we start then with SmackDown, and we'll start with me really digging Sami Zayn explaining where ringside is. I really like that promo a lot.
I did. That was my note too. Was the opening promo worked for me last night,
and Randy Orton worked for me last night
with the RKO out of nowhere. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that worked for me. The opening segment worked for me. The match at the end of the night, if we jump to the main event, I really like what they're doing. They're making Sami super sneaky and clever. KO is as good as he always is. Randy Orton's interesting in this role. I don't know. I don't know if you have much interest in this tag match that's going to be happening, but
yes and no. I like Owens and Zayn. I'm not a big Orton guy right now, and I'm still really wanting Nakamura to deliver the goods, but yeah, but I'm into Owens and Zayn right now. I'll say that.
Yeah. Did you see that? I saw it on a news site, and this is why I don't do news sites very often. They didn't announce any stipulations to the tag match, did they?
Oh, why do I feel like if they don't win, something happens?
It's like a career match now for Zayn and Owens.
Yeah, I think there was a stip like that.
Okay, I saw that, and I saw Shane's the guest referee.
Oh, really? I must have missed that part.
I don't remember. I don't remember that from the show.
Well, we have a lot of wrestling that they force us to watch. Like missing things like that. I missed the whole Enzo Nia Jax thing on Monday, and I thought I watched all the show.
You thought you were on it. I felt that way about last night. I thought I was on it. I paid more attention to SmackDown than I care to admit, and I still missed I missed a thing, I think.
I thought that the best part about the RKO out of nowhere at the beginning was the camera angle. It was like at a unique diagonally downward camera angle. And I thought it just had a really cool look about it on TV.
And it really was out of nowhere for people watching on TV, because you had no idea. The crowd didn't even pop when they saw Randy. It just all of a sudden, bang, it happened.
I just got a message from Steve. He said that Shane announced both of those things at the very end of the show.
Son of a gun. My God. I can't keep up, dude. I can't keep it all straight.
It's okay. There's a lot of wrestling we got to watch.
Holy cow.
Like I said,
how does anybody catch it all? Kudos to Steve, man.
Yeah, but I mean, someone like Steve might have missed something earlier in the show.
Right. It's just a lot of wrestling they're expecting me to hold accountable.
I like that they don't overuse the handcuff stipulation, and so when I see it, the once in a while we do see it, I feel okay with it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all.
So that was kind of cool. One of my notes I actually had from before SmackDown started, but gladly they rectified it. The note that I wrote was, whatever happened to Dolph Ziggler? But at least they addressed him in a big way last night.
Yeah, I forgot about him. It was funny. I didn't even think, where's Dolph Ziggler, which is bad for Dolph Ziggler.
It is, but
then he shows up and I'm like, oh, there he is.
I want him to succeed, and I want him to be happy in the WWE because I want him to stick around for a while. I'm nervous he's going to go. I'm nervous he's not happy.
Do you think he would? He's a guy that he'd always have a career. He'd go to Japan or something and just kill it, right?
Yeah, and he's also one of those guys that I could feasibly, like, there's some people who just have the mentality that I'd rather be a champion in indie than a mid-level guy on SmackDown.
That's how Cody Rhodes feels, and Cody Rhodes, for all intents and purposes, seems like he's a happier person because of it.
That's true. He does. So I just so disagree with it. If I were in the wrestling business or, wanted to make my career as a pro wrestler, I would rather be doing jobs for WWE than a champion in an independent. That's just my mentality.
Well, here's my question. Let's say the money is the same, and I don't know that it is, but let's say the money is the same for the Rhodes brothers. Would you rather be Goldust or Cody? The money's the same. One's a champion and the other you never see.
See, that's a great example. And I'm going to say Goldust. And maybe not at this moment, but if you look at Goldust is going to be remembered as a wrestler, as a character, more than Cody will be, I feel like.
Okay.
And Goldust is a great example. Was not a world champion, was a mid-level guy for pretty much his entire career, except for right now where he's an enhancement talent at best.
Yeah. And
people will remember Goldust's career more than they're going to remember Cody in the independents, Cody in the WWE. I mean, that's just the way I feel. And I'm sorry if that offends people.
If you think, conversely, if Cody had stayed with the WWE in the same Stardust role for the next 10 years, that anybody would ever really remember him anyways?
More than they would be if he's doing independence for 10 years.
I actually get this move for him because I think that he's trying to build a name and a brand and then come back to the WWE with more swinging power.
It's certainly possible. Certainly possible.
That's what I think he's doing. So I don't think it's a bad move, but I get your point completely.
It's not a bad move. I just wouldn't have made it. It doesn't mean, like, there's just, it's like in radio, there's the market size versus happiness argument. Like, do you want to, if you're happy in a smaller size market, are you going, why even risk going to a big market if you're doing well? Or, right. But some people are only happy in the big markets, or, you know what I mean? So it's like, do you want to be where the big boys play, so to speak? Or do you want to be happy? Cody wants to be happy. Yeah,
I guess why I can totally relate to Cody's decision, because it's the decision I've made.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I mean, it's, it's if in the wrestling scheme of things, I'd rather be the guy that, you know, I made memories for kids, and, you know, you didn't see Hulk Hogan body slam Andre the Giant in Ring of Honor. And I'm not ragging on Ring of Honor. It's just, you know what I mean?
I gotcha.
So that's the way I feel about that. I need to issue a correction. I definitely need to issue a correction from last episode. And the last 2 episodes, I believe, I have accused Paige of being the worst talker on the shows right now.
You're ready to retract.
Dude, tell me you saw when they gave, watch this, Sarah Logan the microphone last night.
Listen, those girls shouldn't have a microphone in their hands.
I'm going to specifically single out Sarah Logan, Crazy Mary.
Can we officially give her the Drizzling Craps Award for the week?
For the week? The last 2 weeks, it's been laughably bad. She didn't even get her sentence out properly last night. What was she trying to say? Oh, like she's from Kentucky and nobody's been to Washington. Oh my gosh, Jerry, it was.
I know, dude. She pulled a Titus. I should transcribe it, and I should do a reenactment.
Can you do it? Is that something we can make happen for maybe the posties tomorrow?
I can make that happen, kind of like you know, an intro to the show.
Do you still have it saved?
I have it saved.
So tomorrow, not only will we have the posties, Jerry will reenact the amazing promo from Sarah Logan at the show last night. And by the way, here we go. You ready? Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott,
with 2 T's,
and Liv Morgan are the SmackDown 3.
Sure.
And then on Raw, you've got Paige, you've got Sonya Deville, and you've got Mandy Rose.
Look at you. Look at you.
It only took me 2 weeks.
Took you 3 weeks.
Is it 3?
I think it took you 3.
Give or take some.
Yeah, whatever.
So there was that. And then, by the way, there was also, they gave her the mic again when they were out of...
Apologies, Paige. By the way, our apologies, Paige.
That's right, Paige. So they also gave her the mic when they were out at ringside. She had one line to say and even goofed that one up a little. Or something about like, my pappy would say, you're more nervous than a room, but a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I mean, she's just awful. She's just awful. I hope that she can carry her weight in the ring. I'm just indicting her on her promo ability. Holy cow. And there's no way she can watch that tape back and be like, hey, that was okay, right? Right, guys? That was good, right?
So you'll stop hammering on Paige now?
No. I just won't say Paige is the worst when she's not the worst.
That's all right. She's tough. We know Paige. She'll take it on the chin.
All right. Great line. That was awesome.
Just had to get it in there. I hope it landed.
By the way, did you have a better morning today?
I did. I did.
Okay.
I did. I didn't get yelled at. I still made fun of the mustard people, but I didn't get made fun of. I didn't get yelled at as badly.
That's funny. Great line.
Don't take away a Penn State institution.
Don't take away. Save the Rathskeller. Cut the mustard.
Cut the mustard.
That's what I say. All right. And then I just wanted to make sure that I shouted out Adam Jones and Josh Carl, who had, in my opinion, Ellsworth-like level of jobber ability.
We say your name.
We speak your name. Adam James and Josh Carl. You got 2 guys and you got 4 names. Adam, James, Josh, Carl. You sound like a Survivor Series team in a backyard. Take it on the chin. I don't deserve all this, but I appreciate it.
That was good. Woo! We're cooking with gas today, baby.
Happy birthday, Jake the Snake.
Happy birthday, baby.
So those are my notes from SmackDown, but I had a few more other things. Unless do you have more from SmackDown?
I think that's pretty much it. Bludgeon Brothers.
They did. Well, yeah, Adam Adam James, Josh Carl did the job for the Bludgeon Brothers.
But are you on with the? Do you love them yet or no?
I just feel like, see, here's the thing. I didn't love Demolition, but they had their spot, and I think does that make sense?
But wasn't this supposed to be the Ascension spot? Like, wasn't this what the Ascension did?
Yeah, I don't feel like this is going to be for me. At best, they're going to be a Demolition. And Demolition, they were successful, but I didn't dig them. Fair?
We need a Crush.
Well, who knows? They've had... Watch the Crush as Bray Wyatt. Watch they add Bray to the Bludgeon Brothers.
Take it on the chin.
Take it on the chin, Bray.
Yeah.
All right, so I've had one topic. Are we through with SmackDown?
I think we're done with SmackDown. That was it for SmackDown. It wasn't a bad show. I think Raw was better.
I thought it was very middle of the road, but I'd give an edge to Raw. Agreed. I've had a topic I've been dying to talk to you about since the week I was out. And every episode we've done, I've told myself, I'll remember to bring it up. I'll remember to bring it up. But I've kept on forgetting to bring it up.
Okay.
I've been dying to get your thoughts on one thing, and I've been avoiding asking you about this off the air too, even though I've wanted to ask you about it. Really hoping you watched this. After Survivor Series, did you watch the Kevin Owens 365?
Yes.
Is there one moment that jumped out at you as something you want to talk about? Because there was for me.
Bring it up for me.
I thought you were really, really, really going to strongly react one way or another about that amazing moment behind the scenes at WrestleMania 33 where Kevin goes to Vince McMahon and asks him what he thought of the match. Are we good? And Vince very coldly just says no and turns his head.
Okay, so when I see this, I do react strongly to it, but I'm led to believe that that's Vince. Like
okay.
That's who Vince is, right? Like he's not a flowery guy.
I don't disagree with that, with either parts of those, but I mean, I don't know that I would have handled that way if I were Vince. I mean, I know how I react to criticism in my job, and that would have devastated me if I was Kevin.
And that devastated Kevin.
That was really hard to watch, I thought. I really liked that scene.
It's the more I see about Vince, it's the one thing I don't like about the Bruce Pritchard podcast is that I think that there's like a lot of spin that goes on, and he makes Vince seem like this lovable guy that like really cares about everybody. And I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Well, let me address that real quick too, because I think that there have been different iterations of Vince. And I don't think that, see, when Bruce was writing with Vince, they were doing it in Vince's house. They were driving together. They were inseparable. And the WWE was, here. They weren't public. They were kind of growing, where it was pre-Attitude Era. And Vince was much more approachable. And another thing that this reminds me of is Steve Austin's blanket advice to anyone who wants to make it somewhere in WWE. His blanket advice is always approach Vince and be buddy-buddies with Vince and pitch Vince ideas, where I don't think he understands that's not the way it's not the same locker room that it was in 95.
And it's not the same Vince.
No, it's not. This is a billionaire now who isn't on the B's of his A's, or you know what I mean? Like he's a billionaire. And
it's time to realize, and what Triple H needs to realize is the advice he needs to tell people is pitch me, buddy with me. Because he is now the Vince that Vince used to be.
Well, Austin was the guy who gave this advice, not Triple H.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe Triple H is that guy now, but Vince certainly isn't. And I don't believe that. I've like from what I've seen on Total Divas or other behind the scenes things, like he has a very, very chilling presence. It's like when the principal walks by you in the hallway. I don't get the impression it's like it was 20 years ago that he was approachable and moldable and convincible. And, I think he's very much the way you describe him now. But to be fair to Bruce, I think when Bruce was working with him, that was the Vince that Bruce got.
Okay. Yeah, I can get that, but I don't see Vince McMahon ribbing people now.
That is a perfect comparison. I bet you when Bruce was there in the 80s and 90s and those times, which I know he was there throughout much longer than that, but during those times, he was a ribber. And Bret Hart has great stories about going to strip clubs with Vince and drinking with Vince, and that's just not who he is anymore.
Especially this day and age, Vince has way too much to lose from just one bad accusation.
Yeah. So
the thing with Kevin Owens, he clearly believes in Kevin, or Kevin's been given a lot of room to run, and he even was given a spot where he busted Vinnie Mac up the hard way.
I thought about that too.
Vince wouldn't do that with just about anybody. Maybe it's one of those situations, going back to Bruce, where he said it a million times, if Vince loves you and Vince believes in you, he's harder on you. So maybe that's what it is.
You know, that's a very fair thing that I didn't think about too. But I was just really anxious to hear what you thought about that moment. I know what you react to, and I know what you like out of those things, and it just struck me as a moment that would have really resonated with you.
Well, it did. Everything backstage. I wish all of those things would all be filmed in Gorilla. Like, I wish if there was a Gorilla show where you could just watch what was happening backstage, the entire Raw, like as a companion.
That's the better show.
I would watch that.
So, yeah, and also it's like, I don't know I was a little confused. Now, I'm not going to say that they had a great match at Mania because I don't think that they did. I also didn't think it was a bad match. I would just call it fine. I was surprised that Vince said that, personally.
I guess it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, then we had different reactions, I guess. Because
it didn't surprise me because I just don't think Vince. I don't know, man.
I rewound it several times.
Oh, I do that all the time. I back it up and watch it, and then I back it up, and then I'll.
And the first time I was like, did I catch that right? It was like I couldn't have just seen what I just saw. The guys
to watch different people's faces while it's happening.
The guy just came back from putting his body on the line for your company at your biggest show, and nothing went wrong. It wasn't 5 stars by any means, but it wasn't a stinker. It was, it was kind of what I was expecting. Maybe I was expecting a little bit better, but man, and he was just looking for a little pat on the back, and he just got punched in the face.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know what your reaction was to that. And then I believe we talked about this on the air, but it might have been off the air. Do you remember me? Because remember I know we talked about this part, that I've been watching old TNTs. And boy, howdy, have I been running through these. I'm already close to episode 30. And I started.
What year are you in now?
I'm in 85, and I'm at literally the episode before WrestleMania 1.
Okay.
And now I know I've told you this off the air. I forget if I've told you this on the air. But there is these episodes. One of the words I would use to describe the first 24 episodes of TNT is surprisingly racist. I want to read to you an exact quote. Well, first of all, hold on. There are the stuff that they say now. I know that people are going to say it was 30 years ago, plus it was 32 years ago. It was a different time, and I get the argument. You're not wrong. It was a different time, but there's still things today that my jaw hits the floor when I hear some of the stuff that I do. They had I forget if it was Special Delivery Jones, or I think it was SD Jones on with Paul Orndorff, and SD Jones he's painting these pictures because that's one of his talents. And Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff refers to him twice as a gorilla.
You said every time there was a black guy on the screen, they called him a gorilla.
I'm saying black people are frequently referred to or compared to animals by the heels. And anytime a foreign wrestler's on there, well, they're almost always a heel, and they get called nasty things too that I'm surprised. But I want to give you a direct quote from Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff when referring to Mr. T, who he is a few weeks away from fighting at the first WrestleMania. And okay. I wrote it down, and I want to make sure I give you the exact quote. They asked what he thought. Someone asked him like what his thoughts were about the match or what he thought about Mr. T. And I'm going to give this to you as they came out of Paul Orndorff's mouth. Are you ready?
Ready. Paul Orndorff talking about Mr. T.
He's black, he's greasy, and I don't like him.
A little on the nose there, Paul. Wow.
He's black,
he's black, and he's greasy.
And I don't like him.
Ooh.
I can't believe they didn't. I can't believe that's still on the show.
Yeah, they didn't go through that and take those off. Although it's, do you do that with all shows? Think about MASH. I mean, no.
There's a lot of stuff that's been pulled out of shows.
There was a character on MASH called Spear Chucker Jones.
Right?
And they took him off after the first season. And do you know why they got rid of him? Do you know why they got rid of that character? Because there was a lot of blowback. There was a lot of blowback on that character, so they got rid of it. And do you know why?
I'm assuming the name?
No, because there weren't black surgeons in the Korean War, and that was a misrepresentation.
Yeah, it was a different time.
I mean, holy cow. You had an opportunity to say we're getting rid of this because it was racist, and instead you ended up being more racist.
Well, have you seen that?
I just don't know how you did it.
Have you seen what's going on with The Simpsons?
No.
They're talking about getting rid of Apu. And
I did see that. Hank Azaria says he doesn't want to do it anymore.
And yeah, well, if The Simpsons doesn't do it, the character who voices them, Hank Azaria, or I'm sorry, the actor who voices them, is saying if they don't do it, he may do it. He may just do away with it. And he has that kind of power. Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I think he's got the power to kill that. But it's funny because you think about it, Jaron. I don't know if you're a Simpsons guy, but literally since day one, since the 80s, the 89 is when The Simpsons debuted, I've been watching The Simpsons.
I used to watch it a lot. I mean, through high school, I loved The Simpsons. I haven't watched it recently. And
it's funny because in the 80s and the 90s, you didn't really think that was racist, the character Apu and what he does and the way he speaks. But now, you kind of, if you look at it from a 2017 vantage point, they're right. I mean, it is. I'm not saying you got to get rid of him. I'm just saying he's been portrayed as a stereotype for 30 some years now, or whatever it is.
There are a lot of things where I'll say you're being oversensitive. Yeah, it's too much. You got to be able to laugh at some things. But then there are other times where I can look and be like, yeah, I don't know what you're doing there. I don't know why you're still doing that. And Apu's one of those things, because for me, Apu's no longer funny. So since it's no longer funny, then it's no longer useful.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Apu, just because
you got to be funny. It's got to be funny on an intelligent level for you to be able to get away with certain things.
It certainly used to be.
Well, because sometimes it comes off as satire, and sometimes it comes off as racist.
You know what? And that's there it is in a nutshell. And
if it comes off as racist, it's your fault because you didn't make it funny enough.
Eddie Murphy has a quote that I've referenced several times. I think it's a brilliant quote, but it's true, and it goes along exactly with what you're saying. Eddie Murphy says, "If it's funny, nothing's racist."
That's it. That's the trick. And so if it comes off as racist, you didn't make it clever enough. That's all.
Did Paul Orndorff make it clever?
Come on, Paul. Paul Orndorff. I don't like him because did you see his skin? Like, come on, Paul. Although Paul wasn't, what do we expect from Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff?
And hey, by the way, there was another crazy moment on, I think it was the episode before it, where Dr. D, and I'm not even kind of doing hyperbole, Dr. D pulls a gun on Vince McMahon. And it's like, I mean, it's tense. It's kind of, I was shocked because I always thought the only real thing they did with a gun was Pillman and Austin.
TNT sounds ridiculous.
I'm telling you, man, join me in this journey through the early, I mean, these pre-WrestleMania episodes are, I can't believe they're unaltered.
Well, yeah, and you don't have to go back all the way to the 80s for racist WWE.
No, you don't. You're right.
Do I need to remind you of a tag team named Crime Time? I mean, we got these two black guys, so what are we going to do with them? We'll have them go around the locker room, steal stuff. Oh, my God.
I wonder what Paul Orndorff thought about Crime Time.
He hated them.
All right, that's what I had. By the way, I thought this turned into a really kind of an intelligent conversation about all sorts of things today, not just SmackDown.
Never would have guessed it.
Yeah, who would have thought? But I enjoyed this episode very much. Thank you for riding along with me.
We really took it on the chin this time.
And that was the line. I think we both put up a solid numbers today. We earned our paycheck today.
I forget their names already. What was it? John Carl and Steve Jims?
Hold on, let me give you the right. I want to make sure I get it right.
It's like a Survivor team.
And now, making their way to the ring from the backyard of Doylestown, Pennsylvania, it is Adam, James, Josh, Carl.
Going up against Rob, Brett, John, and Jerry. It's a Survivor Series match to the death.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in. We want you with us tomorrow for the posties. Put your posties together. We told you all the categories earlier in the show, and share them with us after the episode posts tomorrow. I'm very excited to get to that one. Thanks, Jer.
Right on the chin.
Happy birthday, Paige.